So there's definitely a truth to once we've even developed some of our habits of self-care, some of our rituals, some of our practices, even when we get solid in our routines, right? Something happens in life, whether it's good or bad, challenge, stress, new things, vacations, illnesses, whatever. Things happen, right, that cause us to get off the wagon, stop doing those practices. Maybe it happens slowly, maybe it happens suddenly, but often we realize, wait, wow, I'm not doing that practice that used to really help me, right? Whether it's something that we've been doing for our mind, for the body, or something that connects us spiritually. But what's really cool and beautiful is often life, symptoms, the body, feelings in our mental health, even things like anxiety, depression, all of this becomes a call back to our practices, right? And the beauty of when we return to our practices, whether it, again, it's something that we're doing that we feel like is for our body, for our mind, for our spiritual, emotional health and well-being, that we see that we're making an impact. And when we come back to our practices, we often have even more of an awareness of how much they're helping us, how much they're affecting us and changing us. And having gotten away from the practices often helps us realize that, realize how much those things were helping us, whether it's our forms of meditation, ways that we're using movement, breath, presence, stillness, mindfulness, all those ways that we can help ourselves, those practices that we can develop. So even when we get steady in our practices, sometimes we fall off, right? For various reasons. We get busy, we get burdened, things come up. But the beauty when we come back to those practices, returning to the practices, even more so, we realize how much they help us. We often have even more of a resolve and a commitment to stay with it, to stick with it, and even more of an understanding of why we're building that in and making it important as part of how we're caring for ourselves and how we're taking care of how we're going to show up for those we love, right? Whether it's in our play lives, in our work lives, in our relationships, in our creating, so much of it stems from our self-care and how we're feeling. So wherever you're at with your practices, whether you're in the midst of actively engaging in lots of practices that take care of you, or you've fallen away and are missing some of those, knowing that returning to the practices is always possible. We can always start now today and really even value what that missing of the practices can do for us in building the resolve and the awareness and the understanding of how those things are helping us, why we're using them, and why we're going to now be even more committed and disciplined and even more inspired to build that in, right? So hope that's helpful today as you might consider what you might return to or consider building in as part of taking care of you. Thanks for listening, guys. Namaste.